Happy Wife, Happy Life. We're your hosts. I'm Kendahl Landreth.
And I'm Jordan Myrick.
And we are two incredibly unqualified,
but deeply in love comedians who are here to help you with all things relationships. And on today's episode, we're talking cheating, part 2. Hey, Ken.
Hi, Jord. How are ya?
Good. We did have a different plan for today, but we really had so much to say about cheaters that we were like, we'll do a part 2. We'll get in the questions.
Yeah.
We'll cover it more because I'm locked into this topic.
I know. Maybe I should be a little concerned.
Sorry. I love cheating.
Can I say a topic a little bit separate from cheating for 2 seconds?
Sure.
Is the fact that today we drove to the podcast studio with Jordan's laptop on the roof of our car.
I never do stuff like that.
I think most people don't. That is the craziest. That's crazy.
And the drive is not that close. We go over a bunch of different terrain, I'll say.
And Jordan, like, I saw you put it on the roof.
And this is a problem we're having.
And I knew the second I said this, I said, now this will become my fault. Mm-hmm. I guarantee it. But I just was like, of course I think it wasn't that I clocked, I need to tell you to take that off. I just remember seeing you put your laptop on the roof. And then when we got out of the car at podcast recording, you went, where's my laptop? And my stomach literally dropped into my vagina. Well, and I was like, oh my God. And we both turned and Jordan's laptop is just sitting on the roof of the car.
The reason why it's your fault now is because we've talked about this so many times. If you see something, say something. Kendahl is not good at this.
No, I'm
not. So there will be things where like, I will, let's say, all of a sudden I'm like cooking dinner and then I have to run to the bathroom and then all of a sudden like the pan is like smoking and the fire alarm's going off. And then I'll be like, oh my gosh, this is like burning. And Kendahl will be like, oh yeah, I thought it was burning and it smells like it's burning and I was looking at it and it looks like it's burning, but I don't know. I just thought maybe you wanted it like that. And I'm like, Kendahl, if you see something, you have to say
I know.
something.
Well, but I'm telling you, and maybe I've said this before, I'm telling you.
This is Kendahl's theory.
It is youngest sibling mentality. It is youngest sibling. It's deep in our bones to be like, first of all, if I've noticed something, everyone else has already noticed it because I'm dumb and I'm younger than everyone. Especially my siblings were all like 7 years older than me. So most of the time when I would point something out, I was met with this. Yeah, Kendahl, we already know. That's what I'm usually met with. So you assume everyone has already seen it because you are the youngest, so you're the stupidest person in the room. You grew up being the dumbest, most uneducated person in every room.
But you haven't lived with your siblings for a long time.
But it's deeply ingrained. And you also are like, if I think something, I must be wrong. Like, if I think this is a problem, I must be incorrect. You just default
you're
to
right
I'm incorrect
all the time. So why does it stop with things that you could be helping me with?
But if I think, yes, no, 100%. No, I am working on it. I just think with those things, I think I'm right. Those are more like ideas, though. Like, I can emotionally be like, no, I'm correct about this. But I think when it comes to, like, for example, what happened to us one time at an airport is I was like, I feel like we're cutting it kind of close, like more close than usual. But I realized that I was looking at the boarding time and Jordan was looking at the takeoff time.
I thought the takeoff time was the boarding
and
time.
When I finally did say, I was like, well, the boarding time is this time. And you were like, oh fuck. Like, why did you not say anything?
Well, because I had also been like, 7:30. We're boarding at 7:30. We're boarding at 7:30. And it was like we were actually boarding at 6:30 or whatever because and it was an international flight. So the boarding time was like way early.
Wow, Jordan's really like playing it like we're cutting it close.
A thing I've never done. I've never cut anything close. We're always at the airport like 3 hours early. So I kept saying boarding's at 7:30, boarding's at 7:30. And then finally on the 100th time I said it, Kendahl was like,
Well, no,
boarding's at 6:30. What? I said, oh, did you just see that on the ticket? Did they change the time? Well, no, it's always said that. Why didn't you say anything? I just figured you knew. You figured I knew, but I was saying the wrong thing on purpose. I'm like, you have to help me out more.
But that's not what happened today. I did not think
it is.
Jordan, I wasn't sitting in the front seat going, I'm sure Jordan wants their laptop on the roof of the car. I just clocked for a brief second when I was holding a huge bag of trash that I was going to go throw away. So as I was running away with the bag of trash, I was like, Jordan, my brain just clocked that you put your laptop on the roof.
But you need to be more responsible for me like I am for you. And you need to say, don't put your laptop on the roof of the car. You're going to leave it there.
But you know that if I put my laptop on the roof, this conversation would be, why would you put your laptop on the roof?
If you put your laptop on the roof and I clocked it, I would say, don't put your laptop on the roof of the car. It's like the easiest way to leave something on top of the car. The laptop is the same color as the car. It's flat.
No.
You don't think I
our
would tell
laptop
you.
is not covered? Our car's not covered in stickers.
No, but it's close enough in color. You don't think that if you put your laptop on top of the car, I wouldn't say, don't put your laptop on top of the car. I absolutely would.
But then why would you put your laptop on top of the car today?
Because I wasn't thinking. That's why sometimes you're just not thinking. And that's the whole point of being married, is that you have someone else is doing
You
some of the
should have
thinking
married
for you.
someone a lot smarter
And
than me.
ultimately, we got to
If
it.
you thought the reason of marriage is to have someone else thinking, oh, Lord help her. No, but what's weird is that I was like, oh, it must have like the case you have in your laptop must have a really strong grip. But then like everyone in the studio was like touching the
it's just
bottom
like a
of
sheet
it.
of
It's like
plastic.
so like smooth.
It's just like a sheet of plastic.
Well, I'm sorry I
understand.
didn't stop that situation.
Thank you. But you know what I'm saying? I just need you to have my back.
I hate when you say that.
Sorry.
Because I do have your back.
Sorry, I need you to have
Admit
my
I have your back.
more. You have my back in some ways.
I have a big back.
That's your butt.
I
That's not
throw
your
it back.
Kendahl.
Also,
This is like the other night when I got mad at you at Jennifer's Body because those women wanted to get out of her aisle. And I said, I wish you had just looked at them and said, can we have a second? Basically, am I in trouble?
no,
Basically,
not yet. We'll see what the next sentence you're going to say.
basically we're seeing a movie. This wasn't that egregious of an error, but we're seeing a movie and the movie literally just ended. But of course, everyone's like,
No, not even ended. It was like people were trying to leave during like the final credit scene. Like there's a scene.
yes.
They were trying to leave
And
during it.
so everyone's trying to like rush out of our aisle. And then like these women are like trying to be like, excuse us. Clearly like don't just want to walk over us, want Kendahl and I to get up. But like, first of all, I'm still watching the movie. Second of all, like my coat is on the chair. My bag is like sitting next to me on the floor. It's still pitch black in the theater. And Kendahl just looks at me. She's like, get up. These women want to get up. And
Well,
I'm like,
I
look to them and tell them.
Well, and I'm sorry that I didn't do that.
Give me
I
a
am
minute.
sorry for that. But I think what I was feeling was the way, because they hadn't been like, can we get by? They were just walking towards us, and I turned to you and was like, they're about to like step over us. Even though it was one of those movie theaters where the seats are like made for Polly Pockets, and you're like, there's literally you can't walk over me. Like you can't walk. It's not like that. Like one of us has to get up and then you can walk by, or you're going to have like your crotch in my eyeball. Like that's what's going to be happening. And so I could see them already going to like step over me. So I was more like, Jordan, for my sake, please, can we just get up and reassess over there? But I think it came off as that I was kind of like, I want to accommodate these people. But I was more like, I don't want these people to like step on my Gucci shoes. Because they were very vulnerable sitting there, and I just didn't they were on my feet. I didn't want them touching them with their little shoes. That who knows? So I think, but I felt bad that I wasn't like, can I have a second? But I think they would have just been like, oh, no big deal, and then walked over my Gucci shoes.
So it sounds like between me and the Gucci shoes.
That's what I'm saying, and I think that's what it's sounding.
Shoes.
No, but I am sorry. But I think
That's
people.
okay. I love you.
I love you too. I do feel like people, a pet peeve of mine in general, and I feel like it's so much less of a problem in California, but it still is a problem. The way people act around the thought of having to leave a parking garage is so dramatic. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. You are acting as if you don't get out of this theater or this stadium within 2 seconds. As like you're gonna be shot in the head.
They're
is what
acting
it's
like
acting
a tsunami is coming.
Yes,
and
I'm
they
like,
have to get out.
You're gonna have to wait in a parking garage line,
And that's something that happens when you go to a big event.
Yes, like
you have decided
yes.
when you get a ticket to the big event that you will be waiting in a line to pay to get out of the parking lot.
Yeah.
Then you'll be waiting in a line to get out of the parking lot. It's just the way it is. The only, I think, acceptable reason is to rush out of a theater during curtain call, my biggest pet peeve, or like a movie in that situation. You have to go to the bathroom. I think you have to say, I'm so sorry, I really have to use the restroom.
You have to scream, I'm
so
having diarrhea.
I really have to use the restroom.
To every
I'm
usher.
so sorry, I
and
really
me.
have to use the restroom.
Yes.
Then I think it's fine. But other than that, if you're just rushing to your car, I do think that's sinner
It's
behavior.
rude. And it's also like, I think it really, there's so many people where I'm like, you spend your life trying to like hack the system and be like, oh, I'm not gonna have to wait in line, and I'm not gonna have to do this, and I'm not gonna have to do this. And in it, your life is like miserable.
Yes.
Because we stand and we enjoy the curtain call, and then guess what? Because I like my wife, we walk back to the car slowly in a huge crowd of people.
Beautiful.
And then we chat, and then we're waiting in the car in this long line that at the end of the day usually takes like 15 to 20 minutes.
It's not that long.
And we chat versus like a person who's like sprinting out of there, not enjoying any aspect of this thing they paid for. And then they get out of there, sure, in like 5 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, because you don't know how to enjoy a moment.
Absolutely. These people are losers. We have some exciting questions.
Come on. Tell it to me.
I think this first question is really interesting. It feels like something we haven't talked about before.
And these are all about cheating.
These are all about cheating.
Okay.
I think. Unless people left questions
Which
about
I'll answer those too.
other random things. This person says, should I feel guilty for not being upset about my partner cheating? Am I okay?
No, because I assume what's happened is you felt, if it's, to me that reads as it was almost, the cheating was more validating than anything else.
Yeah.
The cheating was, yes, this all makes sense.
Either the relationship was already bad, or you weren't that into it, or maybe you cheated at some point, or you've been a cheater in the past, so you feel like this is something like karmically coming back to you. Regardless of what it is, I say good for you for not feeling bad, but you certainly shouldn't be in that relationship anymore.
Yeah,
I think if they cheat
guilty.
and you're unfazed,
Great.
you shouldn't be in that relationship.
Yeah, no. I mean, obviously you
gotta
don't
break
care that much. Or you care, but you grieved it a long time ago. And like, I don't know how this happened for you, but I could see a world where like a year ago you were like sobbing a bunch all the time.
Now you're
And
numb.
then you just got over it.
Yeah.
And you like already, I feel like I see that so much, and I've experienced that where I'm like, oh, I went through the breakup while we were in the relationship.
Yeah.
Now that it's over, I feel insane because it's like the day after. And I'm like, I actually feel great. And it's like, yeah, because now you already had gone through the breakup or being forced to still pretend to be in it even though you knew it was ending, and now you get to leave. Or I feel like sometimes it's almost worse if someone acts like a cheater, like the way they treat you. They kind of seem like they're not that interested, not that attracted to you. Maybe they seem more interested in other people, but they're not cheating. And you're like, I don't have any proof that the way you're making me feel is valid. And that is like a validating thing.
I agree. You're right. This person says, how do you support a friend who recently got cheated on?
Oh.
I think for me, you got to read the room, because two of my best friends feel very differently about this. One of my best friends, they want you to be like, they suck. They're the worst person in the world. I hate them. They were always beneath you. You're a goddess and they're disgusting. Like, one of my best friends
That's what I'd
really wants you to be like that. And some people do want that. And I would say that's more common, right? I think a lot of people want you to be like that, but I think you have to be careful, because one of my other best friends does not want that.
Yeah.
My other best friend does not want you talking bad about the person they used to be with. You can hype them up. You can be like, you deserve better, but you can't put their partner down, because I think they feel more like their partner is or was a reflection of them.
So they feel embarrassed.
When you're talking bad about their partner or their ex-partner, you're kind of talking bad about them in a way. I think is a little more what they feel like.
Especially if you're talking to someone, I don't know who you're talking about, but if they've been together for a long time, and you're like, okay, you're talking ultimately about a person that I like dedicated many, many years of my life to.
Yes.
Versus like your college boyfriend cheats on you. I feel like it's more feels fine to be like, he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah, and I think you just have to really dip your toe in the water. I think you have to test it. So like, if your friend is like, I'm just so hurt, you have to like parrot a lot of the things they say before you can figure out how to really speak your true feelings in a way that make them feel better. So
which one do you think you'd be? Like if I cheated on you, would you want people to be like, Kendahl was so stupid, I always hated her, actually?
I think there's a middle ground for me. I wouldn't want them to be like, I always hated her, because I'd be like, why didn't you say something sooner? Why you just want to date her and she's bad? Why'd you do that? I wouldn't like that. But I think I would like to be like, that is so messed up, and she's a loser for doing that.
Yeah.
And clearly she's not the person you thought she was.
Yeah.
And like, you're gonna do so much better. Like, I think I need more like hyping up for the future, not condemning of the past.
Yes.
Is how I would feel. But I think you know, if she's like, if your best friend is like, I'm just so hurt, you have to be like, I know, I completely understand. Like, I would feel so hurt too. I can't believe this happened to you, and I'm so sorry. And then they'll say something that'll kind of lead. They'll be like, you know, it's just hard because we had like been together for so long, and I love him so much. Okay, I think you get what the tone is, and I think you can be like, I know, it's like that's so hard, but you know, sometimes love, you know, just because you love someone doesn't mean that they're gonna treat you the best.
Yeah.
And that's clearly what's happening in this situation, and you deserve someone that treats you well.
Yeah.
Like, you can kind of like, that's one direction. Or if your friend is like, I'm gonna set his car on fire, I think you can be like, absolutely. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well,
I think
okay, let's
it
be
depends on
allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. I think it depends on like, I think you have to follow their lead.
Yeah. Well, because I also think once again, I think it so depends on the age you're at. Because I think if you're dating a total loser from like the person I dated at 18, for example,
of course,
when people would be like, and they did not cheat on me, but when people would be like, they were a total idiot, I would be like, yeah, they are a total idiot because they were. I'm not saying now they are, but they were 8
seconds.
Yes,
it's like it doesn't
matter. When we were 18, we were both idiots. It's like it's so easy to be like, that's true. Like they were a total loser.
Yes.
But I think when you've dated someone for a really long time, it's like it almost feels. I hope this comparison isn't too off the rocker, but it almost feels like when my dad passed away. So many people, which is so sweet, and honestly, I've come more around to as the years have gone on, but they would be like, he's still with you. Like, he's watching over you.
Sure.
And I think I would struggle because I would be like, well, I don't really believe that. And like I said, I've, been on a journey with it since, but I think I would be like, well, it kind of like feels like, it actually doesn't really make me feel better because I think my sadness is coming from the fact that I don't think that. Yeah. And I think it's like so much of how we grieve, all the coping mechanisms for grief really come from a religious place.
Yeah.
And so when you don't feel that religious or you haven't connected with religious stuff in the past and then you have someone close to you die, it's kind of like, well, now the only ways we have to cope is for you to basically pretend that you believe in religious stuff and believe that your dad is up in heaven watching every move you make. And I struggled with that in the beginning. And it feels, I hope this isn't too detached, but it feels similar to like if you dated someone for a really long time and you really liked them and your friends really liked them. Because I think oftentimes this is a common thing. It's not just someone dates a total douchebag and is that a slur?
Sure. No, douchebag is not a slur.
Well, I heard someone one time was like, well, technically that's a thing to clean a vagina, so it's offensive that we call it a bad thing for men. You know what I mean?
I think maybe that's a like friend who's too woke take, maybe. Because I think like, first of all, if we want to if we want to go even woker, men can have vaginas.
Okay, yes. Okay, yes, 100%.
Second of all, I think that...
and that's not even woker. That's just true. You're right. I didn't even think about that. So wait, douchebag. It's fine.
It's like a man can have a vagina and a woman can have a penis. And also then on top of that, I think that but it's like a thing to clean you. So there is like a dirty connotation to it if you're using it to clean.
Yeah. Also, like a douchebag feels like a thing that doesn't actually exist. Have you ever seen one? Have you used one?
That's
too personal. You can tell me.
I've seen one. I've never used one. Okay. I don't believe in using like specialized things to clean your genitals.
I agree. And actually, when we first started dating, I had all these sprays I would spray up there, and you made me throw them away.
Throw this away. Kendahl had a bunch of Summer's Eve.
Sorry. Okay.
And I was like,
they might want to sponsor the podcast.
That away. You don't just use like normal like.
I know.
Just
I think I thought a neti pot and a douchebag were the same thing for years.
So you were trying to stick a douchebag up your nose?
Come on. No, because I would never use a neti pot. I've heard those are bad too. I heard that's a slur.
You can use No, you can use a neti pot. It just has to be cleaned properly.
Yeah.
Also, I'm sure there's like some douchebags that are like natural and like work and some douchebags that are like...
Which is so true to dating too.
Which is so true
to dating. Just because your boyfriend seems natural does not mean that he's not a douchebag.
Absolutely.
My point is that sometimes people, you could date a clear douchebag, but I feel like especially as an adult, the more real thing is that you're dating a person for 10 years who is pretty normal and your friends have liked, and maybe some didn't, but also they're just a normal person that you really did like. So then when they cheat on you and people are like, they always sucked ass, you're like, it feels kind of like when people would tell me that my dad was watching over me.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, this is not real. This is made up.
Yeah.
Now granted.
Can I ask?
What?
I always say your dad is watching us.
First of all, I've come more around to it. And I also think it's different when you say it.
Well, because I'm not saying it from a religious way. I'm saying it from a ghost way.
You're saying it from a ghost way, which I do feel like, I think I started to be like, it's whatever makes you feel better. And I think the thought of my dad watching over me sometimes makes me feel better. So I was like, you can choose to just find comfort in that. Versus I think, when your parent first passes away, I think you have so much anger too that you're just like, but he's not. So I actually literally need him to see me do all of these things that I'm going to do in my life.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be there for it. Versus I think now I do feel a little bit more comforted by he's watching over you. And when you say it, I do feel comforted by it. And I never felt, to be clear, offended by it. I wasn't
you didn't feel offended.
I wasn't like, how dare these people putting their Christian views on me? Because that is not
it's like a nice sentiment. People are trying to be nice.
Yes, and I always felt comforted by the person saying it. Like whenever you said it to me, I felt comforted because it's always someone trying to make me feel better. So it wasn't me being like, they're saying that and secretly I'm pissed off. It was more that I didn't feel like I didn't feel it. It didn't feel true to me. So it felt comforting that they were being sweet, but it didn't feel comforting that I actually was like, my dad's watching over me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that totally makes
But
sense.
I think I now more connect to that a little bit. I'm like, my dad is watching over me.
In a ghost way.
Or yeah, in a ghost way.
But not when we're having sex.
No, that's what I was saying. Sometimes I'm also like, I more wish I could like write him like letters.
Texts?
That were just, like, here's a quick recap. Like, I don't want you seeing everything.
You mostly
but I would
want
love
to know
to
the
send
good stuff you're accomplishing professionally.
100%. Because this is like kind of personal, but that was a huge mental, I guess, quarter life crisis I had when my dad died. And I was like, I never thought I was doing things to make my parents, like for my parents, if that makes sense. Like, obviously I want to make my parents proud. Everyone does.
Sure.
But it wasn't like I felt like I was doing career things for my parents. Especially because I'm like, well, if I was doing that, I probably would have picked a more like realistic career choice.
Yeah.
But I think then I was like, I never really, like, for example, with SNL, my dream as a kid was always to be on SNL. But I realized I was like, well, I never really pictured getting on SNL. I always pictured telling my parents I got on SNL.
Yes.
And so then when my dad died, I was like, do I even want to do this for a living? Or did I just want to tell my dad I did this for a living? And then you're like, oh my God, now he's gone. What am I doing?
Yeah, 100%.
And I never thought of myself as someone who did things for my parents like that. But I think there in everyone is like this, biological need for your parents' approval.
Sure.
And so I realized, I was like, I never really thought about winning an Emmy. I thought about like thanking my dad while I was winning an Emmy.
Yeah, and him being excited about it.
Him being excited. And so then I'm like, that's never going to happen. And then I'm like, am I even excited about winning an Emmy? And the answer is yes.
Give her an Emmy.
Give me an Emmy. Podcasting is being added to Emmys.
No, it's not.
Yes?
Really?
Yeah. We weren't nominated.
John? Did you know
Pretty
this?
sure, right? Good Hang with Amy Poehler was
Yes,
nominated.
they are.
What?
They're doing it starting next year.
We were, once again, we're not nominated, but I'm just...
Yeah, but there's time. We could get there maybe one day.
I know, but isn't that crazy?
So it's going to be like Amy Poehler and like Joe Rogan?
Probably.
I don't think Joe Rogan's going to. I think it's going to be a lot of companion podcasts.
What's that?
Like
We could be that.
podcasts for shows. For popular shows.
Podcast for
Well,
shows.
no, but Amy, totally, but I feel like Good Hang isn't that, and I think she was nominated. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Maybe I just saw that.
Well, they're not doing it yet.
No, but I think they I'll look into it.
I'm curious.
Today's episode is sponsored by Quince. As the air turns crisp and the holidays draw near, give yourself the gift of comfort with Quince. Warm, durable, and built to last. Quince delivers a wardrobe that'll carry you through the cold months ahead. Quince has the winter staples you'll actually want, like Mongolian cashmere sweaters from just $50 and Italian wool coats that look sharp and hold up. If you know me, you know I love Quince. And when they were going to send me another shirt, I literally told them to send me the same shirt in a different color because I wear it constantly. It is a staple in my wardrobe, and I love it so much because it feels so high quality. Quince also makes the perfect gift for the person in your life who already has everything. Step into the holiday season with layers made to feel good, look polished, and last from Quince. Perfect for gifting or keeping for yourself. Go to quince.com/wife for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/wife. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/wife. Okay. Never mind. Surprise, surprise, I'm incorrect. Maybe I saw a thing that was like announcing that would be a thing, and then was kind of like something about Amy Poehler's podcast because she is like one of the most popular podcasts. But no, never mind. They haven't been released yet. So maybe we are going to be nominated.
John, cross your fingers. This person says, is cheating ever ethical? And I'm going to say no. You're not doing it because it's ethical.
That to
Why
be
do you need it to be
ethical?
ethical? Yeah, it's not.
No, it's not ethical. It's like a thing that's like anything. It's completely made up, and all of our language is just invented so that we can try to communicate better. It's not like ethical is a thing that scientists can prove. You know what I mean? And like ethical depends on who you're talking to. I just am like, we have to like, it's fine. You can just like, you're not, and like lean into it. Okay, you cheated on your wife. You're being an ass.
I agree. These are two questions I'm going to weave together. So someone says, would you be more hurt by emotional or physical cheating? I'm going to say emotional, and then I'll get to you. The second question that I want to tie into it is, so this person said, I want to hear more about Jordan's theory. A cheater isn't always a cheater, but a liar is always a liar. I've said this on the podcast before, and I really firmly believe it. Now, granted, well, okay, let me backtrack. So I think emotional cheating is more hurtful because it feels more intentional, more planned out.
I might disagree.
Okay, we'll get to this. Because I think I'm also like getting drunk and hooking up with a coworker at a work party one time and then being like, I'm so sorry I did that. That was a huge mistake. I don't think is the biggest deal in the world. I think if I found out that my partner had been emotionally cheating on me for 3 months with their coworker and then sexually cheated on me, that would be like a total game changer.
100%.
So I'm like, because of that, I think that emotional element is much worse. And I don't think you can emotionally cheat accidentally. I don't think you can physically cheat accidentally, but I think it's closer to...
I guess to me, I think of emotional cheating as having so many more gray areas. I think like, and that's why I think I would be, if I found text messages from you and another person for 3 months or even a week, and you'd been like, you'd never physically done anything, but you were like, I'm in love with you. Like, I don't know what to do. I feel so madly, like, just infatuated with you. That would hurt a million times worse than any physical cheating you could do. But I think more often than not, the emotional cheating is so much more in the gray area than that. And I think there's not as many gray areas with physical cheating. Like, even when it comes to you being drunk, for example, which I feel like is always how I would assume any of this would happen. It's like, if you're drunk, you still make a choice to physically cheat on me. And it's a active, like, I'm about to cheat on you and I'm doing it, versus I think with emotional cheating, I think it's like when either of us have been drunk and let's say we're out with a friend or a new acquaintance and we're laughing and we put a hand on their shoulder and we start like really, well, no, let's take the hand out of it because that's physical. But we start being like connecting and being like, oh my God, we're so similar. We're blah, 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 blah. That feels like it gets into gray area territory so fast. It feels not as much like a choice, where maybe the next, like once you're in the Uber home, you're like, ooh, that felt maybe not good.
To me, though, that's different. To me, that's like flirting. Oh, maybe I got too flirty, whatever. To me, emotional cheating is also a choice. To me, it's like you get in that Uber and then you send that person a text message like, I loved meeting you tonight and I miss you already.
No, that's
like,
way worse. That's way worse. You're right.
Emotional cheating is like, is the same thing as cheating, but just minus the physical stuff. So you could be, I love you. You are
that
the
stuff,
one for
that's
me.
Crazy.
To
that's
me,
crazy.
that's emotional cheating. Emotional cheating is not like, ooh, I was a little too flirty. Maybe I put the wrong message out there. Yeah. That's like totally different. To me, emotional cheating is like fully cheating, but minus the physical part. Like you are essentially having relations with this person.
Yes.
Minus the physical.
No, you're
element.
so right. And also I think it's weird because it actually feels so embarrassing. That level of emotional cheating, which I have known people who've done this, I find it to be the most deeply embarrassing thing ever, because it's like, I find that all these people think it's kind of like Mormon soaking.
Yeah.
They think they're like, well, but we haven't had sex. Oh, but we're keeping. It almost feels even worse because they know that because they can't have sex, it's making it hotter and it's sexier. And it's like, this is so embarrassing, you guys.
Yeah.
So you're right. I think you're right. I think I thought maybe there was more of a gray area. I just think you hear people say a lot like, well, I think there maybe was a little bit of emotional cheating. And a little bit of emotional cheating, I think that can mean so many different things.
To me, a little bit of emotional cheating would be like a kiss versus having sex.
Okay.
Where it's like not as bad. It's still a thing you're not supposed to be doing, but it's still not as bad as like full-blown emotional cheating. It's not as bad as full-blown sex, but it's still like, you're still not supposed to be doing it. To me, cheating, there has to be an intentional element to it. Because if you're just texting someone and being like nice and it's coming off as flirty and there's no intentionality behind it, I'm like, I don't know, that just doesn't, I don't think I don't think that happens as much.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, you're right.
So I think there are things like that. But when I say a cheater isn't always a cheater, but a liar is always a liar, I think it is much easier to not even accidentally, but I think it's much easier to slip up and cheat than it is to slip up and lie.
I disagree.
Really?
Because I think lying at its core, of course, you have pathological liars.
Sure.
That's a different thing. Like, I think a pathological liar is always a liar, but I think that's rooted in like mental health problems that like I mean, maybe they wouldn't. Oh, I think that's a true pathological liar. That's rooted in such deep stuff that, like, unless they went to, like, a program, I don't think that could be fixed. But I think white lies, lying about things is at its core like a trauma response.
I don't agree. I think that it can be, but I don't think that it always is. And I also think that if it's your trauma response, then you have to unlearn it.
Oh, I agree. But then my point is, 100%, it's not right. But then I'm like, once a liar, always a liar. To me, I go, well, no, because you can heal from the need to lie.
I think that I'm obviously being hyperbolic when I say,
well, then
once
I'm sorry.
a liar, always a liar.
Not ever trying to ruin your hyperboles.
Thank you, baby. No, but I'm just saying, I truly, in my heart of hearts, believe anyone can change at any time when they want to change. But I think it's harder to stop being a liar than it is to stop being a cheater. And I think it is more common for people to stop cheating than it is for them to stop lying. I think cheating and lying are so intertwined, but I also think that, like,
yeah, I guess they're kind of one and the same. I guess I just think of serial cheating as like the boss level need for attention is how I view it. And that I have found very hard to change in a person.
But a lot of times that is tied to lying. How often do you meet serial cheaters that are like, oh, I cheated on you, I'm sorry, let's break up. Like it's never like that. It's only Usher, right? And he's changed, as I said in the last episode.
Yeah, that's true. Not a liar, I guess.
Yeah, he's different. But yeah, they're so tied together. So obviously I'm being nitpicky with like what that means.
No, I totally,
What I mean when I say it is, I do think there's a world in which you get caught up in a moment and you kiss when you shouldn't have. Do I think that that means you're always going to do that? No. I think sometimes people cheat one time.
I actually agree. I think one time a cheater makes you even less likely to be a cheater ever again. Yeah, because it's upsetting.
Like a compulsive cheater, because I think that cheating seems very upsetting. So I think if you cheat, you get caught up in a moment one time, you make a mistake drunk one time. For me personally, if I did that, I would be like, okay, well, after this, I'm not drinking anymore. Okay, after this, I'm going to, you know what, like, I think I would make a lot of big changes. And I think there's a world in which that is real. It's not beyond my comprehension to be like, oh, I'm in a bad relationship. We're not communicating well. We're not like doing well together. We're probably on our way out, or maybe we're not on our way out. Maybe we're married, but we're having a dip in our marriage, whatever.
Yeah.
I get caught up in a moment. I cheat.
Right.
Do I think that's acceptable? No, but it's not beyond my comprehension.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I really don't think there's ever a reason to lie to your partner.
Yeah.
And I think that if you, even more so, the lying in relation to cheating, if you cheat and come clean about it, I think that's much better, and you're much less likely to cheat again than if you cheat and lie about it.
You always think I wouldn't be able to not, but I have heard some people be like, just don't. If you're not going to do it again, just don't tell them.
What do you think about that?
I would not be able to do that.
No way.
It would eat me alive. But I also think if you've already processed it yourself, it's not, I could understand the argument of like, why would you upset your partner? Why would you forever ruin the trust in your relationship? If you especially feel like there doesn't need to be a reason for the trust to be broken, even though I guess technically, well, there is because you did do it. But if you're like, no, that was like crazy. I like don't know what's going on with me. Like I'm going to get back into therapy. I'm going to do all these things. If I tell my partner this, especially let's say the partner has like past issues with cheating and anxiety around it. Do you think there's a world where like not telling them is a good idea? I think it's never gonna, because I think what's gonna end up happening is it's gonna come out later, and that's gonna be way worse.
I think if there was a world in which you were like, it will never come out, I have moved past it and learned from it. Like, I think sometimes people, will just dump things on you because they feel so guilty about it, and now they make it your problem or whatever. But I wholeheartely agree with you.
Because I also think lies will have to come from it. If then, we're going to a movie night out at this, like, I'm thinking of like Cinespia. Like, okay, we're going to a big movie night where a bunch of people are, and oh my God, I see the person I kissed.
Yeah.
Oh my, okay, Jordan, don't go over there. Let's come over here. And then you're like, now I'm lying. Like, I've gotten into this lying.
Maybe the only way in which I can see it being acceptable is, let's say I'm early on in a relationship, short-term relationship. We've been together for 3 months. I've been telling you not to worry about my coworker. I end up cheating on you with my coworker. I think there's a world in which you do not have to tell your girlfriend or whatever that you cheated, but I think it's your responsibility to break up with her.
What are you gonna?
I think
that's
there's a
different.
world in which
I think when you break up, I think if you cheat and then you're plan to break up, I honestly, part of me is like, don't tell your partner.
Yeah, because I think I'm not saying whether do or don't tell your partner. I think it's such a thing that's like you have to find out.
But I wouldn't want to know.
I think there is a little bit of a thing where it's like if you've been like, don't worry about this girl, and then you cheat on her with me and you keep dating me, that's bad. But I think if you cheat on me and then the next day you break up and then you're like, it's because I cheated with this girl, I think it adds this element of like, you feel kind of gaslit. You're going to take that into your next relationship of being skeptical of people. And then also like now there's this pressure of like, oh, well, should I just forgive you and we should stay in this relationship? I think maybe it's more ethically sound, or at least maybe this is what I would want done to me. Once again, in a short-term relationship, we've been dating for 3 months. You cheat on me with the person you told me not to worry about. I think the next day you come in and you say, hey, I'm really sorry. I do really like you, but I think we need to break up. I am just not committed in this relationship as much as I want to be or as much as you are or whatever. And like,
which is true.
Yeah,
I actually changed my mind though about if you cheated on me, I would want to know.
Okay.
Because I'm realizing if like you came and broke up with me, I would be so confused and I would feel so like.
But we're married.
No, I agree. But I'd set him in to go like if I wouldn't want to know if you cheated on me, and I changed my mind. Because I would be like I would be so confused that I would feel like I would drive myself crazy. And then going into the next relationship, I would be like, I never feel like I can trust that a person actually likes me. Yeah. But if you were like, I have to break up with you because I cheated and it's like killing me, I would be like, I understand. I can like wrap my head around this situation and just move on.
Okay, well, let's talk after the podcast. Shut up. Just kidding. Okay, we have a personal question before we sign off for the day.
It's from my mistress.
It's from your mistress.
Kendahl, call me, please.
She says she's pregnant. This person says, in a past life, before my frontal lobe developed, I was in an on-again, off-again relationship with a toxic ex. He had a girlfriend from college that I was vaguely aware of but never met. All that I knew from him was that she hated me on principle and would talk shit on me frequently. Anyway, I'm not proud of this, but on winter break, he and I met up at his house, which of course ended up in both of us sobbing and then hooking up in an emotionally charged moment. Should I be burned at the stake?
Wait, I don't get it. I got lost in there.
Too many words?
Way too many words. Way too many. Can we just read it one more time?
Yes.
Maybe with a little more like character voices or something to make it clear what's going on.
I'll just edit it down for you so not everyone has to hear it again. So this person is like, when I was younger, before my frontal lobe developed, I was in an on-again, off-again relationship
with a toxic.
Right. He had a girlfriend.
During that time.
Time when they were on-again, off-again. Who knows what the status was of the girlfriend. This person is saying that they never met the girlfriend, but kind of like knew they existed.
Okay.
The girlfriend hated our listener on principle,
which made me laugh. I first thought was like, an app or something.
Yeah, on principle, yeah. It's like Goodreads. No, it's like, yeah, they hated you. They didn't hate you on principle. They hated you.
They were insecure. You were cheating. Yeah,
you were cheating.
Yeah.
And listen, you're a listener, so we love you. But it's funny to be like, they hated me on principle. It's like, well, not on principle. Like, you would hate them too. And they would talk shit about you frequently. Yeah, I mean, like,
100%.
Once again, 100%. Yeah, of course. Like, you would do the same if you were in their position. I think
we wouldn't. We wouldn't. We like love you, but we wouldn't do that.
But you're acting like, well, they were talking bad about me and they hated me, but they had never even met me. It's like, well, of course they hadn't met you because you were the other woman. You were being kept
100%
secretly. You know. I don't know what your gender is. I don't know if you're a woman or not, but I'm using that phrase as like terminology, you know, the other woman. They're not proud of this, but over winter break, they met up and they hooked up in an emotionally charged moment.
Hey.
And now they're saying, should I be burned at the stake?
Well, you shouldn't be burned at the stake, but you did bad. Like I'm going to give it too hard. In the same way, Jordan and I, we always say to each other, what do we say? We'll never let the other person embarrass themselves.
Yes. Because
we love you, not to be parasocial, but because we love you, we have to give it to you straight. And you need to kind of like grow up and go to therapy a little bit.
You're embarrassing yourself.
Because this is not like as hot as you think it is. And I know it feels hot.
And you're not going to admit to it to yourself. So just take a moment and be silent
breathe into this
and just accept that like it does feel hot, and I get it.
It feels hot. It's actually not. Like it isn't. It's actually very embarrassing. And the reason is it's not hot because of you. It's not hot because you're dating you're sleeping with a person who is kind of a loser.
That's loser behavior.
It's loser because and not because he's cheating. Not because we're like angels who are like, cheating is bad and any man who does it is such a loser. It's a loser behavior because he's not emotionally intelligent. And he like can't, I feel like I hear so many stories about straight men in this way where they're kind of like, even by the most feminist woman, made out to be the biggest fucking baby I've ever seen. Where it's like, well, he just like is trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, grow up. Like he's trying to figure it out. Like I don't care. And so I think you're like dating a loser. And then also like if you were more emotionally intelligent, in my opinion, and I do love you so much. And trust me, I have a lot of friends who are not emotionally intelligent. I'm dating someone who's not very emotionally intelligent. Just kidding. But if you were more emotionally intelligent, you would not be attracted to this.
Yeah.
Like this man is kind of like giving free for all in a way that is not hot or grown up or adult at all.
Pig trough. Everyone come over and get some slop. That's what it feels like.
Yes, Jordan, that's exactly what that's so good. And that is so true. And so I think like you need to reframe it. And that's what I had to do a long time ago because I was in a lot of toxic stuff. And I think I had to reframe. I'm like, it's not cool bad guy. You can date a bad guy. Like get a guy on a motorcycle with a leather jacket who smokes cigarettes that like knows what he wants.
Yeah,
like,
not a cheater.
That's an actual bad guy.
I agree with Kendahl.
Because I'm going to tell you what, it's always these people who are like bad boys. They actually are the opposite because they're so scared of all the women in their life finding out the naughty thing they did, and they're trying to keep everyone happy, and they're pretending that it's because they're such a giving and empathetic man, but really they're like a baby. They're like a baby.
Yeah. I also think that you're asking the question, but I do think you're framing it in a way where you're taking all the responsibility off yourself, and you're also making light of the bad thing you did. Like you're being like, before my frontal lobe developed and like she's talking shit about me.
But your frontal lobe's now developed and you just did it again.
And you should know. And you're being like, she's talking shit about me on principle. Well, no, it's not on principle. You know why she's talking shit about you. Once again, and you would do the same. And you're being like, should I be burned at the stake? Well, no.
Because you know what that's giving? And this is just us being honest.
It's us being honest.
Because we love you. That's giving when you tell someone they did something that hurt your feelings and they're kind of like, oh, am I just ice because I'm a piece of shit? And you're like, well, that's like, or when you say to your parent, not my parent, my mom's perfect if you're listening. But I feel like people say this all the time. They tell their parent, you did this thing when you hurt my feelings. Yeah. Well, I guess I'm just the worst mom in the world. That's what giving. Right, should I be burned on the stake? No.
You know that.
You should take some responsibility and go sign up for a therapy session.
Yeah, no one's being like, you should go to jail.
Trust me, I love Tiger Woods. We talked about it in the last episode.
I think even the girlfriend of this guy is not being like, you should go to jail. But I think that you are participating in cheating and kind of trying to demonize her a little bit.
You're centering men in this whole scenario.
Absolutely. And I think you need to stop hooking up with him. If I were you, I would apologize to her. Personally, I would shoot her a message and be like, hey, I know you're not interested in speaking to me and I completely get it. I just want to say I haven't handled this situation well and I'm sorry and I've put an end to it and I wish you all the best.
Because I will tell you at the core, and I seriously, I've seen this so many times, it's like at the core, you think that you don't like her, and I don't know this specific scenario, but you think you don't like this woman that this man is dating because she's annoying, because she's rude, because she's so cringy, because
she's not
have you met
him or
she's
whatever.
Not good to him.
Yeah.
And you think, your brain has made you think, I don't like this woman for logical reasons. Now, granted, she might be a total annoying bitch, and you may be like, I wouldn't be friends with her, but you hate her because you are being misogynistic. You hate her because you have a crush on this guy and you are pitting yourself against this other woman who, first of all, I'm sure is acting crazy. You know why? Because she's dating a man who's making her think she's crazy while he goes and sleeps with you. That is like what's happening, you know?
So I think it has to be.
Of course she's acting crazy.
Yeah, I think it has to be, if you're going to take something away from this episode, first of all, stop. Because you deserve better and she deserves better and he doesn't deserve either one of you. That's what I think about that. Secondly, we know you have good in you because you listen to this podcast. You listen to a lot of good advice.
We're like pastors in a church. We know you have good in you because you showed up today.
Well,
you sat in the pews and you showed up.
Kind of, because I know you know better and you wrote in to get advice because you knew Kendahl and I would give you the cold hard truth. So I'm like, you know better. You can do better. And I really believe in you and I love you. But just also take ownership of what you've done.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to talk to her, be honest with yourself. I haven't handled this situation super well. What I did to her was not kind. What I did to myself wasn't kind.
Well, that's true
I'm going to
too,
start
yeah.
treating myself and other
With
people
more respect.
better and with a little more respect. That's what I think.
Because I also, like, I don't have judgment because I also know from experience, your brain is so powerful, especially mine. Your brain is so powerful, and it can really convince you it can really convince you of things that are not true.
Yeah.
It can really convince you. I've said this a million times, so I'm sorry to repeat myself, but it can convince you it's not that this person isn't perfect. It's just I don't have that spark with them. It's not that this girl, like, I don't like this girl because she's rude. I don't like this girl because she's annoying. Like, I just don't like her. That's why I don't like her. Your brain can convince you of all of these things. And when you heal a little bit, or when you're just a little hard on yourself and are like, be real. Like, the kindest thing you can do is be real with yourself and know that you have choice in all of this. Like, you can choose to not date a guy who's dating someone. You can choose to, and it is mean. Like, there are very few rights and wrongs in the world. So enjoy the ones that have been handed to you. Cheating is wrong. It's wrong. There you go. Stop doing it, you know? But I do have sympathy because I know your brain can really make you think that, and mine does it all the time. But at the end of the day, you have to then lean into what you have choice in, and you simply don't need to hook up with this man. And no, you don't need to be burned at the stake, but you need kind of a wake-up call for yourself. You're going to be single when you're 40. Maybe you're already 40. I don't know. You're going to be single when you're dead.
Yeah.
You know, when you grow. I mean, that is what this is barreling towards, because if you can only find attraction to someone who's taken, and you can only find attraction to someone who is going to be a bad boyfriend or a husband or whatever, it's not going to work out. And if that's what you want, pop off. But I have a feeling it's not.
Yep, I 100% agree. Well, we've solved it. We've solved cheating.
We solved it. Can we open up a P.O. box present? Do we have time?
No. Well, hurry. Okay.
I'll do it really fast.
Wait.
I already opened the package.
Did you look already?
No, I didn't. This is from our P.O. box. You guys send us amazing stuff all the time that we can put on our set. We didn't really put a ton up today because we were running behind.
We were running late.
Okay, The Computer Room by Emma Ensley.
Oh, this is one of my mutuals.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Okay, I love that.
I feel hyper reading The Computer Room. I'm alive to how intense that is, and I love it. I'm obsessed, said Caroline Rayner. Laughing my ass off and shedding a tear at this teenage fever dream, is someone else said. This is incredible. We can't wait to read.
Emma, thank you so much for sending your book. We
wow.
absolutely love it. I
I'm just make sure there's nothing
wait
else.
to read it. If you are concerned about your package having not got to us, we've been getting everything everyone's been sending. A bunch of the packages got put in storage when they were doing the construction on our house during the flood. So we're slowly but surely getting things out. So do not worry if we haven't opened your thing yet. We're making our way through everything and we're so excited to get to them. And everything that everyone sent has been so wonderful
fun.
so far. And go out and get Emma's book.
This is so cool. I love the cover.
I know,
art
it's
also.
really
It's
cute.
so cute. We can't wait to read.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening anywhere you get your podcast, please make sure to rate and review us. It helps us out so much.
Big time.
And if you're just dying for some more content from us, which I'm sure you are, we also have a Patreon where we post extra episodes and we do a bunch of fun giveaways and group chats, ad-free episodes. Just a bunch of random stuff. We have a book club. It's a hoot over there.
Such a hoot.
And we have a blast. We have a real good group of people over there. We're always connecting and chatting, and it's so fun. And so please make sure to check that out. It really helps us out and helps us fund this podcast ultimately. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much for being here, and we hope you have a really great rest of your drive to work. We hope that you have a wonderful fall day and that the air is crisp or whatever temperature you prefer. And we love you all.
All right. Happy Monday.
Bye.
Bye.